news is filled with reports about violence, murder, sex, and drugs, but there are other stories left untold. They are about men and women who give their time, energy, dreams, and even their lives to make San Francisco a better place. They are everybody's angels.
Hello, I'm Pari Livermore. Welcome to Everybody's Angels. Our show is about ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things to help other people. Today we'll be talking about extraordinary people and extraordinary animals. You'll meet Koko, the most famous gorilla since King Kong. Dr. Penny Patterson has been teaching sign language to a gorilla named Koko since 1972. As gorillas go, Koko is quite a conversationalist, and she now has a signing vocabulary of over 1,000 words. We recently caught one of our reporters, Gretchen Schomer, trying to talk to Koko. She Tarzan, Gretchen Jane.
Is it possible for gorillas to communicate with human beings? Koko can not only use sign language and understand English, she can operate a television and VCR, and she used a dating service to find her mate. And believe it or not, she's a gorilla. Let's find out more about her.
Born in 1971, Koko, a female lowland gorilla, is the first member of her species to communicate using sign language. Dr. Penny Patterson began working with the one-year-old in 1972 as a graduate at Stanford University. In 1976, the Gorilla Foundation was established. Dr. Patterson has devoted her life to teaching Koko so that we can gain valuable information about animal intelligence, behavior, and psychobiology.
What I came to realize is that there was an obligation and a bond that I could not ignore. And an emotional bond had been formed, just like between a mother and child. And you can't just sever that bond without extreme consequences on both sides.
Today, Koko uses over 1,000 gestures to communicate her wants, thoughts, and feelings. She uses her signs to lie, joke, insult, and rhyme. Typically, gorillas like to chase and run, but Koko also enjoys hanging out and catching some rays. She has a tested IQ of between 70 and 95 on a human scale and can comprehend approximately 2,000 words of spoken English.
What would you like to do? Trouble and attention to the gorilla tickle. Okay. We're going to do gorilla tickle. Is that what we're going to do? Okay. Things are a little bit heavy.
We have found gorillas to be very similar to humans.
You know, we're not very different genetically. Only about 2% of our DNA is different. They are susceptible to any disease that you or I would be. Yes, even down to their sort of menstruation cycle is very close to a human woman's, and also the gestation period is just slightly less, about 8.5 months. The birth weights of the baby are actually a little bit less than average humans, but of course they grow a lot more rapidly in the first few years of development.
Also, the emotion of love is very strong in Koko. She adopted a kitten named Allball.
And these tiny little kittens, that image, it was on the cover of National Geographic, did a lot to dispel sort of the old fictional accounts of gorillas as being these terrifying beasts, the King Kong image that they kind of got. And this image of Koko gently cradling the cat has done a lot to sort of make people realize that there's a lot more going on here behind this sort of big, massive fur. And she loved her kitten, and she would play with it all the time. She would groom it and care for it as she would perhaps her own child.
Dr. Patterson wants to continue to learn, so it is important for Koko to mate.
We feel it's important that Koko mate for a couple of reasons. One is that gorillas are an endangered species, and there are so few of them that we need every gorilla that we can get. And the other reason is that she very much wants to have a baby. And beyond that is the question of whether a baby would learn sign language from her. And we believe that she would model the signs because we've seen her doing this with her dolls. Only her ape dolls, though.
The Gorilla Foundation set up a dating service so that Koko could find Mr. Gorilla right.
We were fortunate to have access to videotapes at that time of males that needed to be placed. And Koko would watch them. And what she ended up doing was kind of thumbs up, thumbs down. If she liked the gorilla, she would stare at the screen. She would ask for us to play it again and again. And if she had access to the screen, she'd kiss the screen or sign love.
Have you been looking at the gorilla? Gorilla Koko love. You looking? Oh my goodness, a big kiss.
Koko didn't get her first choice, but she did get Ndume, her second choice. They have not been able to have a child yet. Dr. Patterson and the Gorilla Foundation have a reserve in Maui, which may be a better place for the two gorillas to mate. Dr. Patterson is truly an angel for dedicating her life to helping us understand gorillas better. The Gorilla Foundation is dedicated to the preservation, protection, and propagation of gorillas and other endangered species. We thank Dr. Patterson for her hard work.
You're beautiful, Koko.
This is Gretchen Schomer for Everybody's Angels.